And so that's another thing that makes it really special, is that there won't be another Devcon for 2 years from now. In 2 years, there will have four 2049. So I think from being there's less of them, and so each one is more significant. And because we want to have a bigger impact with each one of these. Back in the proof of work days, it took many years to transition Ethereum from proof of work to proof of stake. Many doubted it would ever happen. It took a while, but it did. It did happen. It happened well.
Hi, Skyler. Welcome to join us today. And actually, I'm so excited to invite you because we missed the Devcon last time. And for this time, and we just thought, Devcon came to Bangkok. That is so exciting. Yeah, and I just chased Jian to say, let's just go find Devcons, whether we can have the media partner with them and have the interview. And I'm so happy that we invited you today. And so would you mind just to introduce to our audience and just let them know who you are and maybe a little bit introduction about Devcon?
Sure. Yes. Great to be here. Thank you for the invite. And yeah, I'm Skyler. I'm the team lead for Devcon and DevConnect. Those are the two events that the Ethereum Foundation puts on. And yeah, Devcon is coming to Thailand this year, coming to Southeast Asia. So yeah, it should be hopefully a lot closer than the last one that we had, which was 2 years ago in Colombia.
Yeah, and because we met you on this year, May, in Sydney. It's about ETH Global Sydney. And we just figured out ETH foundations might move to APAC a lot lately, right? You host a lot of the events. I think the last event is in Singapore, right? Just behind, just after the Token 2049. Right.
Exactly. Yeah, but that was ETH Global Singapore. So ETH Global does a bunch of Ethereum hackathons as well. ETH Global Singapore, ETH Global Sydney. They will actually be doing one after Devcon as well, and ETH Global Bangkok. But ETH Global is a completely independent group from the Ethereum Foundation. So the Ethereum Foundation only does two events. They just do Devcon and just do DevConnect, and every other Ethereum event is put on by the community, which is super cool and shows how strong the Ethereum community is. But also makes Devcon something special because it's the one event where the entire Ethereum community will come together from around the globe.
Yes. So I think that's also the questions most of our audience want to know. What makes a Devcon so special? You got the Token 2049, you got the Korean Blockchain Week, those are really crypto oriented, right? And then you also got some FinTech Week, right? In Singapore, in Hong Kong, in New York, etc., etc. So what makes Devcon so special?
Yeah, cool. So yeah, I would say Devcon is not your typical crypto conference. It's also not your typical tech conference. I would say your typical crypto conference oftentimes has a lot of speculation focus or investment focus or token price focus. And at Devcon, we focus on development, but not just development, but building and using Ethereum to actually have a positive impact in the world today. And so we discuss everything from yes, the frontier of Ethereum, the frontier of cryptography, of cryptocurrency, but the frontier of technology more broadly, and computing and society also. What is going on in society today? How does Ethereum fit into society today? And how can we use it? How can we actually use this technology, which we think can positively impact the world a lot? How can we use this technology to actually do that, to actually build real world applications using Ethereum that people can use around the world? And so Devcon is really focused on building, on actually having positive impact. There's no real focus on token price or speculation or investment advice. You won't hear that at all. But if you want to come and learn about what is really the Ethereum community like and what are we really trying to achieve to make a positive impact, that's what sets Devcon apart from other crypto events like Token 2049. I was there. It was fun, but pretty chilly, a lot of sponsors. Devcon doesn't really have sponsors. It's a not-for-profit event. It's purely educational. All the talks are going to be educational. There's no sponsors that pay for talks. And so yeah, I think it's quite different, quite unique.
That's the reason why so many people are really expecting the Devcon. I know even though you guys are not holding like annually, not just for Token 2049, they have like twice per year. I don't think you have like a fixed schedule that you need to host the Devcon this year or the other year. So it's more like random.
Yeah, actually now it's like every 2 years. So the last one we held was 2 years ago. Next one will probably be 2 years from now. And so that's another thing that makes it really special, is that there won't be another Devcon for 2 years from now. In 2 years, there will have 4 until 2049. So I think it's from being like there's less of them, and so each one is more significant. And because we want to have a bigger impact with each one of these.
Right.
So why is 2 years? Does any specific philosophies behind it?
Not so much more than giving us time to have impact. In the meantime, so next year, what we will probably do is we will probably do Dev Connect. So Dev Connect is the other event that we do. It's different than
just
Dev
like last year in Istanbul, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
So Dev, were you there?
I were in Istanbul. So, the Devcon and Dev Connect, I just thought the Devcon, the con, it stands for connect. So I mixed them up last year when I just connect with you. So I just thought, last year should be the Devcon. But you correct me on the Telegram, said, no, that is Dev Connect and this is Devcon, it's a different thing.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it's maybe our fault for making really confusing names. They sound very similar. And so, but they are like pretty different events, right? So like Dev Connect is a week of many independent events. So you have like hundreds of independent events, and we ourselves don't do any big event. We just host a co-working space. And so that's Dev Connect. That's what we did last year in Istanbul, and what we will probably do next year somewhere around the world. But Devcon is the event where we have everyone together, all in one big venue for 4 days, and we collaborate across domains. Like everyone being in the same place is quite powerful. And so that's what we'll be doing this year. It will be the goal is to get everyone together in the same venue, same place. We're expecting 10,000 people to be here at least, maybe more, and it should be a lot of fun.
Right. So what would be the unique experience for this year's Devcon? Because I already saw loads of those like RTD events, which you already list on the official website. And one of the topics which draw my attention is the pop-up city, or what they call like experimental cities. Like I think that would be one of the something that really attracts me. So are there any others like concepts or any experiments you guys like try to show to the world in this year's Devcon?
Yeah, so I would say, so this year, for every Devcon, we have this road to Devcon, and it's basically our focus to try to bring Ethereum education to the region where we are bringing Devcon. So Devcon's coming to Southeast Asia. We are trying to bring a lot of focus and education to this region. So we've given out a lot of grants for small meetups and different groups to do education for developers, for others around Ethereum. So that's kind of the road to Devcon. There are a bunch of events happening, have been happening over the last year and a half, and will be continuing to happen until Devcon. And one of the events that's happening are these pop-up cities. So many of them will be taking place in Chiang Mai before Devcon. There will be 6 or 7 pop-up cities, I think, there. So I think Chiang Mai for the next month, starting from really now this week, maybe October 11th, I think is when some of them start. Starting from that date, there will be Chiang Mai will be like an Ethereum city. It will be like a Ethereum city of many people from the world there. So I think it'll be fun. That's like a part of the road to Devcon, and then everyone will come down to Bangkok for Devcon.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah. So you just mentioned a lot about Ethereum. Is Devcon only focused on the Ethereum, or its programming things is beyond the Ethereum as well, like the Bitcoin network, like the Solana network? Whether you guys are going to touch those things?
Yeah, so I would say Devcon is primarily around like the frontier of technology, the frontier of society, and specifically how can Ethereum help this stuff. So when it talks about cryptocurrency and blockchain, like it is pretty focused on Ethereum. Like many of us believe that Ethereum is quite unique, right? There's lots of other projects out there. They all maybe have their different benefits, but Ethereum is absolutely very unique. And there's certain things you can do with Ethereum that you really can't do with other networks. So yeah, we're pretty focused on Ethereum, but it does stretch beyond just Ethereum. Like we also focus a lot on cryptography in general. So we'll have an entire day dedicated to programmable cryptography. So everything around zero knowledge proofs, multi-party computation, fully homomorphic encryption, like these general purpose second generation cryptography primitives that are applicable for any blockchain. We will have a lot of focus on those at Devcon. There will also be like a societal like conversation around DAC, like defensive accelerationism, which was recently posted by Vitalik in one of his blogs. So like that whole conversation will be about like AI and society and where does crypto fit into this new context of where we have like AI now. And the argument there is that crypto is a defensive technology, right? Like we give power back to the people. They get to have like control over their digital assets, their digital identity. And like this will probably be more important in a world where AI is omnipresent. So there will be some other conversations there, not just about Ethereum and not just about technology. So it should be interesting for a lot of different people.
Yeah, I just went through the website. There has a lot. I think there has 15 or 18 topics.
The track
right?
list.
That is,
I think that's the one you mentioned. Yeah. I think it's 10, right?
And it's across a lot of things, including the business, including the finance, the marketings and technologies. And I'll say it's including everything.
We got a lot of stuff covered at Devcon. We had 3,000 applications for content for talks and workshops. And so there was a lot of interest to present a lot of content. We could only accept maybe like 15% of that. So we will have like, I'm not sure how many hours, like 400 hours of content at Devcon.
Wow.
Almost 600 speakers.
So those people, they just propose all their content to the Devcon.
Yeah.
And
so
they can host their meetup with them.
Yeah, exactly. So Devcon has like anyone can apply to speak at Devcon. So the speakers that will speak at Devcon are a representation of the broader Ethereum and crypto community who are presenting around topics from like maybe like the core protocol or crypto economics or we have 10 tracks, real world Ethereum, coordination like DAOs. Yeah, there's a lot of tracks, a lot of topics that people will cover.
Yeah, I think most of our friends like apply for the like speakers, but I haven't heard any of them successfully accepted by Devcon. So I can imagine that the acceptance rate will be really low.
It was very, very competitive this year, and like we really had to accept only the top talks, and like the content we do have, we're really excited for. But sadly, it meant we had to reject a lot of good speakers. But we gave them some discount tickets, so hopefully they can still make it there. Some of them we gave discount tickets.
So as an organizer, so how you balance the Ethereum specific content with other broader tech discussions and weight when you make decisions about those proposals?
I think Ethereum will become more and more relevant over the next few years in the broader the broader tech landscape, right? Like only recently have we reached a point where it's easy and possible for people to build applications that are usable by average people, right? Like we needed to get transaction fees down, we need to improve the user experience. And so all of this, I think there's a lot of ways where Ethereum fits into the broader context of technology, of society. Like crypto itself will only become more popular and more used in the future. So it's not so much thinking about like, okay, should we talk about technology topics in society or Ethereum? Because now it's really like they're both together at this point.
Yeah, I totally agree. I do think once the layer 2 is coming, and I can see when the volumes and the transaction costs are getting low and the volume getting high, to using the blockchain is more affordable than before. So I think a lot of the dApps and a lot of the applications, they are starting to think in building their product beyond the blockchains, and maybe the Ethereum definitely is the top choices. Before the layer twos, maybe the Ethereum too expensive, so they're always moving. And now that we have layer two as the options, the expensive things is no longer. So I think a lot of people are going to using the Ethereum. But another thing is whether how many people we can bring into the crypto industries and let more people to using, that is another topic, is another challenges.
Yeah, indeed. I think, when you talk about Devcon, I look at all those information you guys post online. And this year, 2024, is coincidentally the 10th anniversary of Devcon, right? Since the first Dev Zero, right? In Berlin, right? So it's 2014. So now it's the 10 years later, now in Bangkok. So could you please just give us like a brief walkthrough about Devcon these 10 years?
Yeah, so Devcon really was like the first Ethereum conference, right? The first one actually happened before Ethereum was launched, before the mainnet was launched. And so, yeah, the first one was Devcon 0 in Berlin. Since then, it has gone around the world, going from just a few hundred attendees to now we're expecting over 10,000 attendees. And so, like, I think it's a testament to the growth of the Ethereum ecosystem, right? Like, there's been a lot of blockchains that have come and gone in that amount of time, and there's something special about Ethereum that like allows it to keep persevering and keep existing and growing, and yeah, to now becoming the like impressive ecosystem that it currently is. And so, yeah, I think like this will be the 10th year since the first Devcon. It won't be Devcon 10 because we actually like skipped a couple years for COVID, and then now we do it every other year. But it will be the 10th year since the first Devcon. So yeah, it is definitely a special time, and it'll be nice to celebrate that.
So I think we do have the pandemic, during the very tough years. So after those years, how the Devcons accommodate those massive increase in the attendees? Do you have any secret source you can share with us?
Yeah, I would say we don't really do a lot of marketing. Like Devcon does not do a lot of marketing. It does not do very much like publicity or things like this. Like really, we try to target those who are like, we give discounts for builders, for those who are actually building in the ecosystem. If you're local to the region and you're a builder, you even get a bigger discount. And we really just try to grow through just a lot of word of mouth and awareness within the ecosystem. It's not an event where we try to make money, right? Like we actually we lose, we put a lot of money into this. We give money to like make this happen. And so like our goal is not to earn a lot of ticket sales or make it the biggest event. We want to make it the best event, right? The most impactful event. So yeah, I think like the growth over the past couple of years is mainly just due to the Ethereum ecosystem growing, like the interest in Ethereum growing, number of developers growing, and like that's pretty directly translated, I think, in a pretty authentic way to the Devcon attendance.
So what are those like challenges or opportunities, these like massive growth that brings to Devcon or to Ethereum foundations, in your opinion?
So challenges for Devcon or challenges for the Ethereum Foundation? Or what do you mean?
Let's go for Devcon first.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest challenge we have, right, is, okay, so we have high expectations, right? Like many people went to Devcon in Bogota and they said it was their favorite conference ever. And now we have to make Devcon Bangkok even better. So like, that's a big challenge. We are working on it. We think we can do it. But yeah, that's like, it's high expectations. So we're here to beat these. The second challenge is like maybe a more high level one is like, how can we make Devcon the most impactful, right? So how can we make Devcon, like how can people walk away from Devcon inspired to build really meaningful things that can improve the world using Ethereum? How can we inspire them to build these things, to actually go forth and like build these projects? And like really like the impact, that kind of impact is probably not going to be noticed for another couple of years, right? Like maybe when like the next Uniswap or the next big project is built on Ethereum, like perhaps that person says, yeah, I was first introduced to Ethereum at Devcon Bangkok, and that's what convinced me to like get involved in the ecosystem. And then they build this massive thing, right? So like our greatest impact is probably something you can't measure right away, and is something we want to see happen over the next few years. But like that's I'd say the big challenge, right? Like how can we make that kind of impact happen more? And yeah, so people walk away from this conference, this event, inspired, knowledgeable, ready to actually use Ethereum to help the world.
I'm very curious. So I think the Devcon says maybe you guys want to organize an event that with the frontier thinking. Does you guys have the theme? So for each Devcons?
We actually don't really have a theme. I'd say we don't really have a theme. It's really hard to make a theme that's like applicable to how diverse the ecosystem is, right?
Okay.
So I would say like every DevCon we're coming together, yeah, and we're just kind of like looking at what is currently going on in the ecosystem, what are the current challenges, what do we need to focus on in terms of content and education, and yeah, just getting people together in the same place, in the same venue for 4 days. Like there's a lot of benefit that comes from that. Like, I mean, just working in person, collaborating in person.
Yeah, I totally agree. So I think because last year I'm in Istanbul and I went to the co-working space, and that vibe is so great, you know. So you can always talking with people, and people say they can partnership together, and you get food, you get a drink, and you can sit there for a whole day and making friends and to find business partners. Those vibe is so high. And this year we participated the hackathons, the Eat Global hackathons.
Nice.
And I just find everybody's helping each one, even though we're not in the same team, but always have people, oh, do you need help? We can give a hand what you need. So I think that those vibe is very helpful. And I totally agree. Those maybe find a theme. So I know that is silly questions, but I know find a theme maybe is strict people's thinking and just bring people together, grouping them together. And then maybe people can always, they can always thinking something's cool.
Yes, exactly. Right. Like the magic will happen if we just get all these people together in the same spot.
So does Devcon bring some opportunities as well? So you just mentioned about the challenges. Does any opportunities?
Not just to Devcon team, but also for the other, the practitioners or the newcomers and all the other shareholders or stakeholders in the ecosystem.
Yeah. So, I mean, like for like the attendees, what opportunities would you get by coming to Devcon? I would say like there will be a lot of content you can learn from, right? So whether you're a beginner or an expert, there will be content for you. So it's not only for experts. There's a lot of introduction content. There will be like community hubs where we will have different communities within Ethereum represented. They will be like the DeSci hub or layer 2 hub or home node runners hub or regen hub, women's hub. There will be like 12, 13 community hubs where we'll give them a space to like have people go and meet the community, get involved. They'll have small discussions. There will be some activations, like you'll get to play around with actual cryptography. So you'll get to use some cool cryptography. Like everyone's ticket is actually going to be a cryptographic proof, and you'll be able to make proofs on this in like a privacy preserving way, which is kind of neat. There will be some other cool things to do there. So like there's a lot of things to do for people to come, whether you're like new to the ecosystem or an expert. The event will be a good way to get introduced.
Well, I think the tickets get being cryptographied. That is so cool. Because last time we got an interview with Coinbase APAC managing directors, and they partner with Nike Club for the Melbourne Marathon. And everybody's so personal timing, all those swags and will be stored in the Coinbase wallet. So that is memorable things for the people. I think that is a cool thing. It's a very clever way to onboarding newbies, onboarding those people who are not very familiar with the cryptos. And I think Devcon is doing the same things for the beginners.
Yeah, I already seen so many people like sharing their tickets on Twitter and other, social medias.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
Those are not the real tickets yet, so those are not cryptographically enabled yet. But
Cool.
Right. I think, the next topic I want to discuss you would be a little bit more serious. I think this year would be pretty critical to Ethereum, right? So there are a lot of things going on. There's some key person leaving Ethereum, and there are also think about what's the future of Ethereum, and the community also talk about that, and we like some of our friends and the founders of the projects, they also think about that. Also, you can see the market now, even it gets better because the China got the government's getting involved. Yeah. They bump in now. What's your thoughts about the future of Ethereum?
Right, there's some challenges that we're facing right now, but I would say like more than that, I think if you look back on where Ethereum started and all that we have accomplished to get here, like Ethereum is the best place it's ever been, like the best position it has ever been, right? Like historically, Ethereum, right, back in the proof of work days, it took many years to transition Ethereum from proof of work to proof of stake. Many doubted it would ever happen. It took a while, but it did. It did happen. It happened well. Then the roll-up centric roadmap, right, came out. Ethereum was expensive. People were complaining about that. We needed cheap fees. And basically now we finally have rollups, right? So like 4 years ago, the rollup centric roadmap was launched, and it took roughly 4 years for these rollups to mature to the place where they are now, where we have cheap fees, and they need to continue improving. They need to continue advancing their security, but we are in a place where like now we have actually cheap gas fees, and that's no longer a criticism of Ethereum or a blocker for building your application. And then maybe like user experience, right? So like user experience has always been a little bit difficult, and not just for Ethereum, but for all of crypto, right? Like trying to onboard your grandmother to open a wallet and download a 12 words and remember these 12 words, but you can't share them with too many people because if they get the 12 words, then they have access to your money. So like it was very, very bad user experience. And still today, there's still things to improve. However, we now have account abstraction, right? So we have like ERC 4337. We have even more EIPs being implemented, where now we can rely less and less on seed phrases, more on things like passkeys, or even better, like social recovery. And like these things were talked about for a long time, and now only recently they're becoming really like more common and easy. And so like we're actually in a position where you finally start to see applications being built for the real world. So like Polymarket is one example that's actually built on Polygon. It's like a prediction market, right? And like most people who are using Polymarket don't realize that it's built on crypto. Because it abstracts a lot away. It's using Polygon for cheap fees, and it has some form of account abstraction in there, I believe, to hide the account features. And this is what the real applications will start to look like. Like we will start to see more applications like Polymarket that use Ethereum and that are able to be used by the masses, like the average person. And like yes, there are things to keep improving in Ethereum. Right, there's some challenges. I mean, I think you mentioned one of the challenges was that some people were leaving. Like, I guess you're referring to Danny Ryan. I don't know. Is that who you're referring to?
Yes. Yeah. I don't want to say that, but yeah, you got it. Yes, that's right.
Danny's amazing. Danny's great, and like he's contributed so much to Ethereum. And yeah, he's like, I think he's earned a break. Like he deserves a rest. And he's not the first person who has contributed a lot and then decided to take a break or decided to leave to go elsewhere. And the cool thing about Ethereum is like it continually has a community of people that are contributing to it, right? So like now that Danny might leave, like there's someone else who can step up and fill the void. And like this has happened many times over the last 10 years of Ethereum, where people have stepped up and filled important roles where other people have left. So I'm not concerned at all that Danny is leaving. I think he deserves a break. And I think like Ethereum will definitely survive. And yeah, maybe like the other problem we have to face, the challenge we have to face is like fragmentation across rollups, right? But there are efforts to work on this, right? There are ERCs currently proposed, and this will be a big point of discussion at Devcon, right? Like chain abstraction or cross L2 communication and transfers. And I think we will get there. Like we will be able to get through that part. And then what we'll have on the other side is we'll have many different layer 2s, all with their own advantages, their own virtual machines, like their own programming language you can use, their own ecosystem development teams that are like building the ecosystem and creating education in different places around the world. And you'll end up with an Ethereum that is like not just Ethereum, it's Ethereum plus like 100 different teams helping to support it. And I think that's a really formidable force, right? Something that's very hard to beat. And so, yeah, I think Ethereum's like in the strongest place it's ever been, even if there's a lot of FUD out there on Twitter. And I think like it's not going anywhere. And yeah, Devcon will serve its role and to help making sure we're going in the right direction. But we're getting there. We're closer than ever to having massive real world impact.
The other like skepticism about Ethereum, actually for Ethereum Foundation, is that the people said like due to the forecast, Ethereum Foundation will run out of funds in the next 5 years. And also because that due to the layer 2, right? So you don't have that much transaction fees received from the transactions anymore. So how would you say that? Like how would you respond to this kind of like FUD talks?
Well, okay. So wait, maybe to clarify, like the Ethereum Foundation, like it received a set amount of Ether at the beginning of Ethereum, right? At the ICO. And since then, like the Ethereum Foundation doesn't really have any income. And so it's not receiving any it doesn't receive any, there's no transaction fees going to Ethereum Foundation, right? The Ethereum Foundation only has a set amount of funds. And then over time, we're using those funds mainly in the form of grants and other things to give back to the ecosystem, right? So like Devcon is one of the things that we use the funds for, and we do it just really to support the ecosystem. And so yeah, over time, like the Ethereum Foundation, I'm not sure, it might run out of funds at some point. We're not close to that, but it also has the Ethereum Foundation has this mentality of subtraction, right? So like, to have a really effective ecosystem, right? Like a really decentralized ecosystem, there arguably like should be not a central entity that has too much influence. And so the Ethereum Foundation has tried to, over time, instead of doing more, to do a little bit less. And this way, like we are, like if we do too much, what we end up doing is we suffocate the community. Right, like we suffocate the efforts by the community to do certain things if we take care of them through the foundation. And so we have tried to do a little bit less and support other groups, other organizations in the form of grants or signaling to fill the gap that may be there. And like in this goal, like ideally, maybe the Ethereum Foundation, like its needs are much less in the future, or like the ecosystem needs the Ethereum Foundation much less in the future, to the point where maybe it can disappear. And then at that point, like maybe Ethereum is actually like sort of like the Bitcoin ecosystem and is sustainable and is decentralized, and there is no one central foundation. I don't know if that's a direction. I don't know. That would be a question for Aya and others at the Ethereum Foundation. But I don't think we're anywhere close to running out of funds just yet. So that I think will continue to be fine for now. And the other thing you mentioned, I guess, like the layer 2s being like taking transaction fees from Ethereum. I think it's important to note that like layer 2s are Ethereum's biggest customers, right? Like layer 2s are actually paying a lot of money back to Ethereum to post their transactions and post their data. And like this will continue to increase with time. So as layer 2s receive more transactions, they'll have to post more data back to Ethereum. And like meanwhile, they're also spreading the usage of ETH out into the ecosystem in like a secure way. Yeah, I don't believe that layer 2s are parasitic to Ethereum. Like some people might argue from other ecosystems, like the Solana ecosystem. Really, I think they're additive to the Ethereum ecosystem. Like I think they're like helping us scale and go broad.
Yeah, I think Ethereum keep their decentralized status. It's quite aligned with the Devcon strategies. You just mentioned Devcon strategy is not hosting a lot of things, and you're open for the proposals for the whole communities, and you're just helping them to make things coming true. So, okay, we stop. So we finish all the series questions. Yeah, because a lot of our audiences, they're quite interesting about what's going on with the Ethereum. And even us, we're planning a series about topics about talking about what happens with Ethereum.
Yeah, perhaps next time, during Devcon, we can have an interview with Aya. So we can have people talk with her about that.
Yeah, what's going on? What's happened? Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So let's back to the Devcon. So we just mentioned about how the Devcon helping the global communities coming together. So yeah, I do want to know as the operating side and the marketing side and the organizing side, so how the Devcon team to bridge communities around the world.
Yeah, so I should count the number of countries that are coming to Devcon right now, but there are like people from literally all around the world coming to Devcon. Like tons of people from Latin America, from North America, from Africa, from Europe, Eastern Europe, from all over Asia, Australia. Now we this is the closest it's ever been to Australia, and Oceania, and like. Yeah, so there are people coming from all over the world to Devcon to participate in this event. And like it's largely because Ethereum is borderless, right? Like Ethereum is a community that exists all over the world. And yeah, they want to come participate in this event to meet with other people they have been collaborating with and working with. So yeah, Devcon aims to bridge the borders that way. Like one of the reasons we chose Thailand is because the visa policy is very welcoming. So people from all around the world can get visas to enter Thailand, which is important for us, right? We want to make sure that Devcon is accessible by people all around the world. Thailand's also relatively cheap once you get there, so we wanted to make sure it was accessible and as like affordable for as many people as possible to come and participate. So yeah, that's kind of like we expect a lot of people there from all around the world to be at Devcon.
Yeah, last time we have the interview with Maggie from the Eat Global, and we mentioned about why you guys choosing Australia. And Australia is so far away, and most of our friends, they expect the Ethereum communities, the Ethereum Foundation host some event in Australia. And we just mentioned why you guys finally came and what took you guys so long. And she just mentioned we have to think about the visa status, whether the people can easily get the visa. And another thing is we have to think about how long, how far away the States is, because Ethereum foundations want to bring as many people as together. And we can see this year in the Sydney, the East Global in Sydney, we can see a lot of people came is from the New Zealand and Australia, and some people came from US. But it's not many people as we saw last year in the Istanbul. Wow, Istanbul is so great. There is tons of people. And when we ask where you guys from, we're from Dubai, we're from America, we're from blah, blah. And some people is even from the place still having the war.
Was it Iran or Afghanistan?
The Ukraine.
Oh, Ukraine. Okay.
Yeah, even from Ukraine. And so, oh my God. So it's so reputation. It's so influential. Right.
Well, talking about this, actually, could you share some of the past, like really successful collaborations, like international collaborations with communities? Like, you guys work together and then it just gives you this kind of like surprise, not just simply the load of attendees, but also the impacts of certain side events or the main events become like something that surprisingly high, like much more than you expected.
So I mean, okay, so there will be a lot of side events there, right? Like there will be a lot of side events. We're encouraging side events to take place before Devcon or after Devcon, or in the evenings during Devcon to try not to conflict with Devcon, because again, the whole idea is that we get everyone together in the same place. But yeah, there will be lots of events, lots of different focuses, and all of these events are organized by companies from all over the world or projects from all over the world. Yeah. I'd say there's not many like Devcon is pretty partnership free, sponsor free, right? We focus a lot on the content, the education, the quality of the event, and we will have some featured projects there to showcase their projects. Most of them are not for profit projects. Some of them are layer twos will be there featuring their layer twos.
So this year's Devcon choosing Thailand. Can we think, except all the objective things like the visa things and the relatively cheap things, and can we see the Ethereum start to making some efforts on the Southeast Asia and want to get some development in the Southeast Asia?
Yeah, I think like our big focus this year is Southeast Asia. Like I'd say like from the Devcon team's perspective, right? Southeast Asia was our focus. And just by choosing Thailand and Southeast Asia, you can see a lot of other events and a lot of other organizations focus their efforts in Southeast Asia before Devcon. So I know like different L2s have focused on Southeast Asia, like Arbitrum, ZK Sync, or Base, or Mantle. Like all of these are focused on Southeast Asia. Maybe arguably because Devcon chose Southeast Asia. I'm sure some of them are doing it independently too. But yeah, hopefully we want to leave a big impact in Southeast Asia, right? So like have a lot of people be aware of Ethereum and like contribute to the ecosystem afterwards to build on top of Ethereum. And there's a lot of developers and there's a lot of people who are like extremely capable in this region. This is the reason why we brought Devcon here in the first place, right? Like if you look at the chain analysis crypto adoption index, I think like 4 of the 10 countries from last year were from Southeast Asia. So like almost like 4 of the top 10 countries for adoption were in Southeast Asia, and a couple were really close in the top like 15. So it's like actually a country that has a lot of interest, or region.
I just figured out recently there has a lot of the communities and a lot of the protocols. They're moving to the third world. The third world, just like the Southeast Asia and like the Africa,
South America.
And the Latin American. Is that particular reasons why those protocols they're moving to those third world countries?
I probably would call them like developing regions or emerging regions, or like I've heard people call them like frontier regions, or maybe my like most favorite one is like leapfrog regions. Like I think these are places where maybe they don't have like the financial infrastructure that in certain places, in certain more developed countries, they have the financial infrastructure. So like in the US, there's very good financial infrastructure. In Western Europe, there's very good financial infrastructure. Maybe not even financial, like even like identity infrastructure or things like this. Like there's some institutions that exist in these places. In China, they have these institutions even like in these emerging regions, they don't have these institutions yet. And so I think this is where crypto can arguably have its most positive impact, is in places where there's really high inflation, for instance, in like Argentina or Nigeria or Turkey, right? Like crypto gives people an opportunity to easily access stablecoins, and they can like resist losing their entire savings due to inflation. It gives them access to loans where they don't have like extremely high predatory rates. Although we need to like make better loan applications, like actual non-collateralized loans or things like this. But it gives them access to like maybe also like in the future or very soon, like identity systems that are fair and trustworthy, where that maybe their government's identity system is not. And I think like in these places, these emerging regions are where they see the most benefit from crypto. Like they recognize the benefit. Like I just spent 1 month in Argentina, for instance. Like Argentinians, they recognize the benefit of crypto because they've lived through many years of like government abuse of monetary policy to the point where they lost most people lost a lot of their money in like the early 2000s due to inflation, and more recently again due to inflation. And so, these are places where crypto can have a positive impact. And like maybe the US or Western Europe or whatever, like, or more developed regions, like they see it more for speculatory reasons, like investing and making money. But in these other places, like they can actually be used as a tool to give people access to like basic infrastructure, like important infrastructure. And arguably, like it gives them this tool that it gives them better infrastructure than other developed regions have. So this is why, like I say, like, or I like the term leapfrog country, like, because like they might be able to, like, with this new technology, they can adopt it faster. They can then have this new technology, and it allows them to leapfrog these other countries that are still stuck with like their legacy infrastructure. Like upgrading the United States financial infrastructure is very hard and has a lot of like regulatory resistance from the SEC. And like a lot of these other countries can move a lot faster, can adopt this technology, and maybe we'll even be able to leapfrog these other more established, developed countries in terms of their technology. And so like I think this is why my guess is why there's a bunch of focus there from other countries. And this is also why we bring Devcon. We focus Devcon a lot on more of these emerging regions, because we think it's like these are the places that Ethereum like can have the most positive impact on today. Like in many ways, Ethereum levels the playing field globally, right? It gives everyone access to this global financial infrastructure, this global computer, this new type of computer. And so like, yeah, we want to give people in these regions access to that.
Yeah, there is a lot of the space for those regions to getting more creative things and to building on their own infrastructures and building for their lifestyles. Yeah.
So since you already mentioned that 4 out of 10 regions that has the highest adoption rate, right? It's in Southeast Asia. So could you share a little bit more about like what's the development of Ethereum in Southeast Asia?
Yeah, so I would say maybe it varies by countries. Like there are significant applications on Ethereum developed that were developed in these different countries. Like in Vietnam, you have Kyber Network, Axie Infinity, I forget was developed there. It was really popular there. Philippines was very popular.
Axie Infinity, yeah.
Philippines,
in Philippines and Indonesia. Philippines and Indonesia.
Indonesia, yeah. There's like in Malaysia, I was just in Malaysia for ETHKL. In Kuala Lumpur, they have Etherscan, CoinGecko, Pendle Finance. Yeah, I think you have a lot of projects here. You have a lot of people who are like working on other projects that are like global community, global ecosystem projects that are based here in these countries. And yeah, I'd say like part of the reason why we're bringing Devcon here is because we want to see more. We want to see more projects being built on Ethereum by people in Southeast Asia to tackle problems that are relevant to them in Southeast Asia, but probably also relevant to people around the world. Like this is kind of the idea.
Yeah. Last year I went to Bangkok and they have the Bangkok Blockchain Week. And I just met a lot of the coders, the developers. They are relocating themselves from the Europe, from the US to Bangkok and to the Chiang Mai. And it's starting last year. And because I just know the Thailand, they just opened their visas for the people who can have the remoting job and to live in Thailand. I definitely can sure that a lot of people moving. Yeah, cool. So back to our communities. So our communities have a lot of people who are non-coders, non-developers. So, and most of them, they just ask us whether we suggest them to go to Devcons and what they can learn from Devcons. And I know you just mentioned about the Devcons also have some content for the non-coders and for beginners. And because our audience, they from the Web 2 world, and their job is mainly like they are the artists and maybe they are the researchers. And some of them, they have their own brand in the Web 2. So, and they want to explore more opportunities in the Web 3. So whether they can learn something from Devcon, or does Devcons have prepared some content for those kinds of the audiences?
Yeah, I think it could be relevant to them, right? Like I think if you're an artist, if you're a Web 2 developer, or if you're like an entrepreneur, or like even like a project manager, if you really want to be if you want to learn more about this new type of computer, this like next version of like this frontier of technology, I would say, and how it interacts with society today, then I think Devcon is for you. If you are interested in learning about how to make the most money, what the price of Ether will be, or like or investing, like Devcon is probably not for you. Like you should probably stick to going to Token 2049 or things like that. But like if you actually want to build things that improve the world, like, and you want to learn how to do that, or have interesting discussions about the current status of society and how we can improve it, like these are the kinds of conversations that will happen at Devcon. So that's what I would say.
Okay. Cool. I know. Yeah, no. Last year we went to Token 2049 and we went to a lot of parties. And so we skipped this year. And I just think, okay.
I totally got it because I was there as well in Singapore Token 2049, and then I was in the East Global as well, where we met each other, right? So I can feel the differences between these two types of events. So the first one is like, oh my God, it's like wine, like alcohol, money, all the things like BD, and then the East Global is more like thoughts. What's your opinion about the future of Ethereum and how can you actually contribute to it? And what's your goal in the future? And how can you contribute your own powers to these like massive systems and as well as the community? So it's completely different feelings. I mean, I can't say that I like East Global more than the Token 2049, but actually I enjoy the vibe of East Global more than the Token 2049. It makes me feel peace and think about what I'm actually doing. Yes. Otherwise, it's just like keep really busy, like social with others, exchanging cards, Telegram. That's it. And after all, this feels like nothing left after that 2 days. So that's my take, right?
Honestly speaking, I enjoy both. One is the parties that are getting high, let's party, getting high, let's getting dance. And on the other hand, we can talk about business and drinking alcohol to getting drunk. And another way is we can brainstorming. Yeah, we can get some ideas and we can find some sparkles between us. Honestly, I enjoy both. I don't know what do you guys think? Yeah. You go first. You go ahead.
There will be both of some stuff there. There will be a bunch of side events. So there still is like parties and there's still fun times and you get to hang out with people for sure. I'm guessing there will be some really fun side events here. I think Aave just announced their Rave event. That'll be the rave.
Oh, really?
That'll be fun. Yeah, that's always like a classic around big Ethereum events. So yeah, there will be some fun parties, but yeah, mostly, yeah, I think each event, Token 2049 and those other events serve their purpose, and Devcon is definitely quite different from that.
Cool. So it's on the last part for our interview today. And so this part is how you see the future about the Devcon. It's very broad questions.
Yeah, I see Devcon, continuing on into the future. I think the next Devcon probably will take place in 2 years. I don't know where. We don't know where it will take place yet. But I can probably guarantee it won't take place in Southeast Asia. So if you're near Southeast Asia, you should try to take advantage of it being here. It might be farther away than Southeast Asia next 2 years from now. So, yeah.
It's okay. Europe or Africa.
Oh, yeah. Africa. I think that's the only continent you haven't touched. Right?
No, we haven't also been to Australia. We haven't been to a lot of South Asia. We haven't been to. So there's lots of places.
I don't think.
Yeah, I guess we'll be in Africa. Yes.
Yeah, I vote. Yeah, let's see 2 years. 2 years, and we'll see whether we get through or not.
We will see. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. So do you have the last message or what you want to say to the audiences who want to attend to the Devcons this year?
I would say Ethereum is for the first time in 10 years in the position where you can use it to build real world applications that normal people can use, that can go to the mass market. And you can build these applications without sacrificing on decentralization or without sacrificing on security, which I think is really important for what we're trying to build here. And so, yeah, if you want to learn more about how you can build these applications that we've been talking about for the next 10 years, but haven't really been possible, I think you should try to come to Devcon and learn how to build these applications and contribute back to the ecosystem. Hope to see you there. Yeah, that's cool. It. Thank you both for the great interview, the great talk.
Thank you.
I think one more last question, the really important one. It's about the ticket, right? So I think it's the last round of the raffle, right?
So this is the last wave. We have one more wave of tickets, I think, in 2 weeks. I believe it's the 15th of October.
Okay, 15th of October. Yeah. Oh, so 1 week. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
1 week, so you have to set your calendar reminder, and yeah, and we will definitely sell out of tickets. So you should really try to get it if you want to come to Devcon. And yeah, if you have attendees, if you have listeners from Southeast Asia, from like specifically like the lower income regions of Thailand, of Vietnam, of Myanmar, of Laos, of these places, like Philippines, Indonesia, Malaysia, like they can qualify for discount tickets, more discount tickets, so that they can like we make Devcon more accessible for them. So that's the idea. So they can apply for those on our website, and our website is devcon.org. You can find.
Yeah, we'll definitely put it on the show notes so that people can click it.
We'll put everything on the show notes. Yeah,
as well as all those side events and those amazing activities happening around that time.
Amazing. Yeah. Amazing. Great. Thank you so much.
Great. All right.
Thank you so much, Skyler.
Thank you, Skyler, to join us today. And we hope everybody who's interested in the Devcons and can join Devcons this year. And both of us will be there. And Skyler's already there. So.
Yeah. We'll definitely see you and see all of our audience there.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Cool.
Amazing. Maybe
I'll see you in Thailand.
Yeah,
I'll see you in Bangkok. Maybe in Chiang Mai first. Yeah, maybe Chiang Mai first.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that's everything for today.
So that's everything for today. Have nice days and enjoy the Thailand's life.
Amazing.
Okay,
Thanks
bye.
So much. Okay, see you later.
Amazing.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Oh, that big band sound turns me around. The gypsy style brings me a smile. Oh, how that swing taught me to sing makes my life worthwhile. How that music gets me high, brings tears to my eyes. My hips are swaying side to side, my lungs